grand final for the ages, the Broncos snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Trailing by 20, they erupt in a second-half storm that shatters Penrith's dynasty. What a night! Ladies and gents of the NRL faithful, buckle up, because what unfolded under the Sydney Lights last night wasn't just a game. It was a seismic shift in rugby league history. The Brisbane Broncos, ridden off as underdogs after a rollercoaster season, faced the juggernaut Penrith Panthers, three-time defending premiers whose grip on the shield had become as unyielding as the Blue Mountains themselves. For 4 years, the Panthers prowl the competition, devouring contenders with surgical precision, clinical defence, explosive attack, and that unbreakable Cleary-Yen-Lou spirit. But tonight, in a spectacle dubbed show-stopping by commentators, the Broncos scripted a comeback beyond special, a tale of grit, glory, and sheer audacity that left 80,000 fans roaring in disbelief. It started like a horror show for Brisbane. The Panthers pounced early, Dylan Edwards slicing through for a hat-trick of tries in the opening 20 minutes, his boot converting with ice-cold accuracy. Nathan Cleary, the maestro, orchestrated chaos, dummy half scoops, pinpoint kicks, and a bulldozing run that had the Broncos' defence scrambling like leaves in a gale. By half-time, Penrith led 26-6, their forwards, Kikau, Fisher-Harris, and Sorensen, dominating the ruck like colossi. Reece Walsh, the Broncos' electric fullback, looked shell-shocked after a high shot sidelined him briefly, and the halves, Reynolds and Mam, couldn't stem the tide. Pundits were already etching Penrith's name on the trophy, whispering of a dynasty extended to immortality. Brisbane's coach, Anthony Seibold, paced the sidelines, his face a mask of fury, barking adjustments that fell on deaf ears amid the Panthers' roar. Yet, whispers of Broncos' resilience echoed from the sheds. This wasn't their first brush with the abyss. They'd clawed back from deficits all season, fueled by a squad blending grizzled vets like Payne Haas and Billy Walters with young guns like Kotoni Staggs. As the teams emerged for the second stanza, a hush fell, then thunder. Walsh returned, fire in his eyes, and the crowd sensed the pivot. Penrith, complacent in their lead, loosened their chokehold, and Brisbane struck. A Selwyn Cobbo intercept off a Cleary pass ignited the spark, the winger scorching 60 metres to score under the posts. Reynolds' conversion narrowed it to 26-12, and suddenly, the momentum swung like a pendulum in a storm. The Broncos pack, led by Haas's Herculean carries, began winning the middle third, grinding metres and penalties. Penrith's errors crept in, a forward pass here, a missed tackle there, exposing cracks in the armour that had seemed impenetrable as the clock ticked into the 50th minute. Brisbane trailed by 14, but the belief was palpable. Mam's sleight of hand offload to Dearden bamboozled the defence, pulling another try back. 26-22. The stadium pulsed with energy, purple and maroon waves crashing together. Cleary tried to steady the ship with a long-range penalty, but Haas charged it down, the big man's roar echoing like a war cry. This was no fluke. It was the Broncos channeling their 1990s spirit, that Reynolds' patriarch legacy reborn. Fans clutched their scarves, hearts pounding. Could the impossible unfold? Penrith's bench looked rattled, Luai barking orders, but the 4-year reign teetered. Brisbane's bench erupted in chants, and Seibold halftime masterclass, switching to a 6-2 split and unleashing the speedsters, paid dividends. The comeback wasn't just points, it was psychological warfare, turning despair into defiance. And as the scores edged closer, the show-stopping drama was only beginning to peak. From the brink of heartbreak to heroes in 40 minutes, the Broncos' second-half blitz rewrites the script, leaving Penrith's stars stunned. Hold on tight. Hold on to your hats, NRL diehards, because the second half of this grand final was a masterclass in momentum's merciless swing, transforming the Broncos from lambs to lions in a blur of brilliance and bravery. With the Panthers' lead at 26-6 evaporating like mist in the morning sun, Brisbane harnessed the intangible heart that no 4-year dynasty could quantify. Adam Reynolds, the ageless number 7, emerged as the conductor, his short kicking game pinning Penrith deep, forcing errors from a side unaccustomed to pressure. One such grubber ricocheted off Edwards' boot straight into Cobbo's hands again. Try. 26-28? No, wait. Reynolds' sideline conversion sailed true, and suddenly, the underdogs led by 2 with 25 minutes left. The crowd's decibels shattered records, a cacophony of Broncos. Broncos, drowning out the Panthers' faithful. Penrith, for all their pedigree, faltered under the unfamiliar weight of vulnerability. Cleary's passes, usually laser-guided, went awry. Luai's flair turned frantic. A desperate offload attempt by Tuo was scooped up by Staggs, who barreled over untouched, 34-26 Broncos. The replay showed the sheer athleticism, Stagg shrugging off 3 defenders like ragdolls, his try a statement of Broncos' power. Seibold's tactics shone, rotating Haas and Carrigan to keep the fresh legs pounding the middle, wearing down Penrith's giants. Fisher-Harris, the Colossus, looked human for the first time, gassing after 60 minutes of Herculean toil. Brisbane's defence, once porous, morphed into a brick wall. Walsh's covering runs neutralised Edwards' counters, while Mam's decoy lines created space that didn't exist. But glory isn't gifted, it's gouged. At the 65th minute, with scores locked at 34-30 after a clearer penalty, the Panthers rallied. A Luai bomb caused havoc, Taruva leaping like a salmon to score in the corner, 36-34, Penrith back in front. Heartbreak loomed for Brisbane, flashes of past finals collapses haunting the mind. Yet Reynolds, cool as the Brisbane River, called for a captain's challenge on a dubious call, upheld. The momentum yo-yoed back. From the scrum, Dearden's long ball found Finey sprinting free, 40-36. The try was vintage NRL, speed, sleight, and stupidity from Penrith's edge. Commentators lost their minds. This is beyond special, it's biblical. Fans streamed live reactions on socials, hashtags exploding. Hashtag Broncos Believe trending worldwide. As fatigue clawed at both sides, the mental game tipped decisively. Penrith's 4-year reign bred entitlement. Brisbane's underdog fire forged unbreakable bonds. A late Panthers surge, Kikau rumbling 40 metres, threatened parity, but Haas's tackle, a thunderous hit that echoed through the stadium, symbolised the shift. Cleary's final shot at glory, a 45-metre field goal attempt, sailed wide as the siren wailed. Broncos held on, 40-36, in a sequence of sin bins and scrambles that had viewers glued to screens from Bondi to the Barrier Reef. This wasn't mere victory, it was vindication for a club that had wandered the wilderness, now reclaiming the throne with flair and fury. The show-stopping label? Understatement of the decade. Siren sounds, confetti flies. The Broncos dethrone the Kings in a final frenzy that'll echo for generations. Epic doesn't cover it. As the final whistle pierced the electric air of Accor Stadium, the Broncos' improbable odyssey culminated in pandemonium, a comeback etched in eternity, toppling Penrith's 4-year fortress with a 40-36 nail-biter that redefined NRL grandeur. Reece Walsh hoisted the shield skyward, tears streaming, his earlier setback fueling a performance for the Pantheon. 2 tries, 200 run metres, and defensive reads sharper than a switchblade. The scoreboard told a story of resilience, 6 second-half tries to Penrith's 3, but the real narrative was human. Payne Haas, blooded and unbowed, earning man of the match with 180 metres and 40 tackles. Ezra Mam, the 21-year-old wizard, whose 3 assists dismantled the Panther spine. Coach Seibold, vindicated after critics' barbs, embraced his charges in a huddle that spoke volumes. No words needed, just the glow of triumph. Penrith's camp, shattered, processed the unthinkable. Nathan Cleary, the golden boy, bowed his head, his 18 points not